Populism is everywhere in the news today, but nobody seems to agree on what it actually means. Most politicians and journalists use the word as an insult. They call populism a disease, a form of mob rule, or the first step toward dictatorship. The truth is that populism is not some temporary glitch in democracy. It is a permanent feature built into how modern democracies work. Populism changes the way we think about political power, who should have it, and how ordinary people fit into the picture. The main difficulty in studying populism is that it keeps changing shape. It can appear on the far left, like in Venezuela under Hugo Chavez, or Spain's Podemos party. It can also appear on the far right, like France's National Rally or the MAGA movement in the United States. It can be a rural farmers' revolt, an urban workers' uprising, or a social media driven electoral campaign. Our job is to find the hidden patterns beneath all these different phases. Scholars have developed three main approaches to understanding populism. Each one captures something important. First, the ideas approach. Cass Mudd defines populism as a thin centered ideology. This means populism believes society is split into two enemy camps, the pure, honest people versus the corrupt, selfish elite. Politics should express the general will of the people, nothing else. The term thin centered is key here. Unlike Marxism or liberalism, populism does not have a full plan for how the economy or society should work. It needs to attach itself to another ideology. On the left, it attaches to socialism and targets wealthy oligarchs. On the right, it attaches to nationalism and targets immigrants and globalists. Second, the strategy approach. Kurt Weiland argues populism is not mainly about ideas, it is a political strategy. A charismatic leader seeks direct, unmediated support from large numbers of followers. They bypass political parties, unions, and traditional media. Today, they do this through social media, which creates the illusion of a direct personal connection between leader and follower. Third, the discourse approach. Ernesto Laclau offers the most radical view. He says populism is a political logic that constructs society in a specific way. It starts with separate unmet demands. Workers want higher wages, a community wants a clinic, students want affordable tuition. When the system ignores all these demands, they start to link together. They realize they share a common enemy, the out of touch elite. To unite, they rally around an empty signifier, usually the name of a leader. This symbol becomes the voice of the people, and an absolute line is drawn across society. Populism first appeared in the late 1800s in two very different places. In Russia, Narodnik movement was a group of middle-class radicals who romanticized the peasant village. They tried to start a revolution against the Tsar. In the United States, the People's Party organized farmers crushed by falling prices and high railroad rates. They demanded railroad nationalization, a progressive income tax, and more money in circulation. In the mid 1900s, Latin America gave us a new kind of populism. Leaders like Juan Perón in Argentina built massive support from the urban working class. They created state run unions, welfare programs, and factories. This was populism as national development, not just protest. Today, we have media populism. Silvio Berlusconi in Italy owned all the major TV networks. He went directly into people's living rooms. Social media has supercharged this trend. Algorithms reward outrage and emotional content, exactly what populism needs to grow. Populism relies on a simple but powerful trick: divide the world into us and them. Us is the pure, hardworking, common sense majority. Them is the corrupt, out of touch, parasitic elite. There is no middle ground, no compromise, and no nuance. This is why the people is such a flexible term. On the left, the people means workers and the poor. The enemy is the 1% and financial capital. On the right, the people means the native born nation. The enemy is globalist, bureaucrats, and immigrants. The structure stays exactly the same, only the labels change. Populism does not appear out of nowhere. It is a rational response to real crises. First, economic pain. Over the past 40 years, factories have closed, good jobs have disappeared, and inequality has exploded. Mainstream parties on both the left and right agreed that nothing could be done about global markets. Populism breaks the silence. It promises to protect local workers and punish the elites who got rich from deregulation. Second, broken politics. In many countries, the major political parties have turned into a cartel. They agree on the big issues while fighting over small cultural differences. Voters feel that no matter who wins, nothing changes. Populism offers to smash this cartel and give power back to ordinary people. Third, cultural fear. When society changes quickly, some groups feel left behind. They feel like strangers in their own country. Right wing populists exploit this fear by promising to restore the old days and protect traditional culture. When populists actually win power, they reshape the state in three ways. First, they rewrite the constitution to centralize power in the executive branch. They see checks and balances as obstacles to the people's will. Second, they adopt harsh criminal policies based on public anger rather than evidence. They want to look tough. Third, they rely heavily on referendums and direct votes while reducing parliament to a rubber stamp. The leader becomes the living symbol of the nation. Finally, populism attacks the very idea of expert knowledge. Technocrats say truth comes from scientists and credentialized experts. Populism says common sense is superior. When an expert issues a report, populists ask, who paid for this? What hidden agenda does this expert have? This can be healthy when it exposes real corruption, but at its extreme, it destroys the very idea of objective fact. Everything becomes tribal. Nothing can be proven. Democracy cannot function without some shared baseline of truth. Populism is neither a pure evil nor a perfect solution. It is a permanent tension built into democracy itself. Democracies need both stable institutions and popular passion. Too much institution and politics becomes dead and alienating. Too much passion and democracy slides into authoritarian rule. Populism is the alarm bell that rings when institutions stop listening. Our job is to understand that alarm, not just scream at it.